guys, it's JC here, back in again with another video. Today we're going to be doing my Wrestlemania predictions. Now I could have some of this wrong, like order-wise or night-wise. A lot of it hasn't been announced. I looked online, a couple websites can't really confirm it. So if I'm wrong, at least you're getting my predictions. Doesn't matter about the night. For night one, kicking off WrestleMania in general, I have Theory versus Cena. Now, I think this can be one of the matches of the night. It's a generational talent versus a generational talent. Basically a younger version of yourself kind of matchup. Now, I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think Theory is going to prove Cena wrong, and I think Theory is going to go over. They need to build Theory, and this is one of the best ways. Cena could win, but if he does, he's going to lose the United States Championship the very next night. Now, that's my personal opinion. Next matchup, we have a clusterfuck of tag teams. Ricochet and Braun versus Alpha Academy versus Street Profits versus Viking Raiders. I personally don't care about this matchup. So with that said, this tag team turmoil or whatever you want to call it kind of matchup, let's give it to Alpha Academy, even though we know Braun and Ricochet are going to win this. Because thank you. Next up, Brock versus Omos. Don't give a shit. Omos can go over because I don't care about Brock anymore. So next matchup, Logan versus Seth. Seth's going over because I think Seth deserves a good WrestleMania victory. Now, I don't agree with this placement of this matchup, but I think Gunther versus Drew versus Sheamus is going to be the banger of the night. And I think Gunther is going over. Now, I don't know what's going to be the main event. It could be Ripley versus Flair, or it could be Usos versus Sammy and KO. One would hope it's Sammy and KO versus the Usos. So we're going to keep that as the main event. But Ripley versus Flair, I think Mommy as Dominic with collar is going over. I think it's going to be a good match of the night. Two clashes in styles. It's a WrestleMania rematch. And I think Flair is losing. So, with the WrestleMania main event of night one, Usos versus Sammy and KO, I think a tag team match could main event of WrestleMania. So that's what we're going to do. The Usos had a great reign. But I think night one is going to start the downfall of the bloodline. And let alone the Usos. So I think Sammy and KO are going to go over. They're going to be the new unified tag team champions. Now we're going to kick off night two. This could go any direction. I'm putting the Mysterios as the first match. It's a nice high-flying match, a nice athletic match to kick off the night. I've loved this storyline so far since last year at Clash at the Castle. So I think Dominic Mysterio is going to retire his father. This is how Mysterio always wanted to go out, by his son retiring him, or Eddie's son, if you have the SummerSlam 2005 custody match in your head. But Dominic is going to defeat his father, and I think that's what's going to happen. It's a good way to send Rey Mysterio off. He has nothing left to prove, and that's what I personally believe. Again, tag team clusterfuck match. Liv Morgan, Raquel versus Nat and Shotzi versus Ronda versus two to be announced. I don't care about this matchup. For my personal pick, let's just go Liv and Raquel because I like both of them. Next up, Bobby versus Wyatt. This matchup could or could not happen. Either way, I think Bobby should just beat Wyatt. I can't take Wyatt seriously at this point. Next up, Damage Control versus the Legends and Becky. I'm just going to call it that because I don't think they have a tag team name or a stable name. I think Damage Control is going to go over, and I don't think this rivalry is over. I think next up, I think it's going to be Edge versus Balor in Hell in a Cell. I think Balor is going to bring out his demon, and they're going to have a clash of the ages. Now, personally, I think Balor's going over. He's lost pretty much every time he's faced Edge. So I think Balor's going to get a very crucial WrestleMania victory. Next up, Belair versus Asuka. I don't think this is going to be a good match. It's going to be an average match. But personally, I think Belair should lose her title. Personally, I don't think she's done enough with this title reign, and it's boring. Plus, I want this more vicious Asuka to get a very crucial title victory. Plus, Asuka hasn't had a very good record with titles at WrestleMania, so I think she deserves this. So Asuka's going to go over for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, the last match. This is the match everybody's been talking about, and nobody knows what's truthfully going to happen. You see, some people say Cody, some people say Roman, but I'm going with Cody. Mark my words, he'll be walking out WrestleMania 39 as unified champion. Now, it could go either way. They could have Roman reach 1,000 days. Personally, if I was WWE, I'd just combine the reigns and call it one because it's a unified belt. So it's already over 1,000 days. But I think there's going to be chicanery. Usos, Sammy, are going to interfere. It's going to lead to the downfall of the bloodline. I think it's going to be one foul swoop. And that's what I think personally is going to happen. So your champions walking out of WrestleMania are Cody, Theory, Sammy and KO, and Gunther, and Ripley, and Asuka are all your champions walking out of WrestleMania. I think it's going to be an interesting WrestleMania. It's going to be one of the better WrestleManias of the ages. If I left out any matches, put that in the comments below and I'll answer with a prediction there. But if I got any of the nights wrong, oh well. But tell me what your predictions are in the comments below. And this has been JC, and peace out.